In this video, I'll demonstrate how to export your database directly to a backpack in your Windows Azure Blob storage. This is the same server that I used in my previous video, except now I will use the service to create the backpack. In this video, I'll assume that you're starting from scratch, so there are a few things that we need to check before we get started. First, you need to ensure that there is a firewall rule exception for this server for Microsoft services, which you can set by clicking this checkbox here at the bottom. Adding this exception will allow the import-export service to connect to databases in this server. Secondly, you will need a Windows Azure storage account. So to create one, I'll click on Hosted Services and select New Storage Account. Here I'll enter a URL and select a region where this storage account will be located. Select OK, and let it go through and create the account. While it's doing that, I'll need some way to access the account and interact with backpacks and other files that are there. So to do that, I'll open a new tab and search for Azure Storage Explorer. I'll click on the first link and it'll take me to the Codeplex page for this project. I can download the free client and install it. Once finished, I'll start the program, and I'm ready to add my storage account. So let's go back to the portal to get the credentials. I see my account's now created and ready to use. To refresh the data, I'll just click back and forth. And now I see my public URL and my keys are now ready. So here in the portal, I will grab the access key and copy it to my clipboard. I'll come back to Storage Explorer and add an account. For the account name, I only need to add the prefix for my storage account, which you can see here. Then I need to paste in the key that I copied earlier, indicate that I want to use encrypted HTTP, and then add the account. Now my account's created. I'm going to create a new container where I'm going to store all my backpacks. As you can see, my new account here is empty. And now that I've created my account and a container, I'm ready to export my database. So to do that, I'll make sure my database is selected and then click on Export up here in the ribbon. Now I need to provide my login and password. And paste in the key I copied earlier for my storage account. Now I need to provide the URL where the service will place the backpack. To start with, I have to paste in the fully qualified account URL, followed by the container name, if I want to put it in a container, followed by a file name. .backpack. Now I'm ready to hit finish, which will submit this request to the service. I see I get an immediate return of a request ID that I can use to reference this request later on. We'll close that window and then check with Storage Explorer and see what's going on. After submitting the request, I may sometimes see a 0-byte file in my storage account. The reason the service writes this file right away is to validate it has write permissions to this blob account. But the service won't actually upload the completed backpack until after the export is complete. We want to try and ensure that you don't get charged for storage in the event of an export failure. And because this database is fairly small, we should be able to refresh now and see the completed backpack, which, just like before, was 25 megabytes in size. So there's a full walkthrough of how to start with SQL Azure, create a storage account, and export using the service directly to the storage account.